So a client reached out wondering if I could do alterations on a lehenga that she had got for a wedding. She said she had seen a video where I had done alterations on a previous client and her lehenga, and she wanted to find out if I could help her. So I asked her what exactly is going on, what alterations do you need? And she was like, it's hard to explain. I just need to try on the lehenga. And I was like, okay, could you just give me like a brief kind of overview? She was like, it just fits weird. I was like, okay, come in, let's see what's going on. So this is her in her lehenga, and from afar, it doesn't look like much is going on, but when you get closer, she actually couldn't fully put on the sleeve of the top. And just like looking and kind of like trying to pull, you could see that the sleeve around the armhole was a little too small, and so it wouldn't fully go up. Now I was like, okay, let me try and seam rip the sleeve off to see if it would fully go up. And so that's why we have the sleeve detached there. So it actually worked. So I was like, okay, so the culprit is really the sleeve. And the thing is, she wasn't so attached to the sleeve. She was like, I'm not attached to these. If both of these need to come off, that is fine. But I was like, it's such a beautiful piece with the sleeves. I would hate to not use them or to not figure out a way for you to be able to wear the sleeves. And she was like, well, do what you need to do. I'm not attached to them. If you can't do anything, you can remove them. The skirt as well, you could see the bunching up there was a little too big. So she wanted me to take it in. I was like, again, because of the beading, I don't know if I'll be able to take the skirt in. Not only the beading, just the way the skirt was sewn, or the way the skirt is usually sewn with pieces like this. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to do anything, but I will try. And if I can't do anything, I mean, I'll let you know, but you could utilize the ties to kind of adjust how tight you want it to fit. So that was fine. Brainstorming the sleeves, I was like, I really, really want to keep the sleeves. I would just hate for her to have spent so much money on the lehenga and then not just have a complete, a piece without the sleeves. And so I looked at everything, and the thing that I really appreciate with how these are made is that they always leave a lot of seam allowance. So you can see that is seam allowance. That's about like close to 2 inches of seam allowance. So my decided process was to let out, especially at the armhole, because that is where it was tight. So let that out just a bit. And again, the thing I appreciate about their seam allowance is that firstly, it's quite a bit, but also they don't usually put beading around that area. So it's easy to work with. I don't need to like remove beading or break needles trying to sew over that. So managed to let out, and you can see that it had a side zipper, so I had to remove that whole zipper, kind of reposition it so that I had enough to let out, place that back again, and then also kind of adjust the sleeve. Now I can't remember if I added gussets to expand, or the sleeve actually had enough seam allowance in there as well for me to kind of let out and just be able to match the armhole that I was already working with. The stitching and everything, like I had to be very, very careful. So you can see me here seam ripping. I believe this is the other sleeve. So just taking that out, also opening up the side so that I can let out, sew that back down, and then add back the sleeve. But listen, these pieces are gorgeous. Just look at the beading. Again, I said they glue those on. Those are not sewn on. So it just makes it a little bit more challenging, but they're beautiful pieces. So beautiful. So here I removed the zipper and then just realigning it, readjusting it so that I have enough room for me to place the sleeve back in. And so there I'm just adding back the sleeve. And like I said, I don't remember if I added gussets or if I just let it out, and you can see, look at the seam allowance on the, I guess on both of the pieces, and how there's nothing there. There's only just threads. So that really helped out. With the skirt, I was like, okay, let me just try and hand sew about, I believe maybe it was 1.5 inches. Let me take that in, hand sew that. And again, because of the way the skirts are made, I couldn't take any more than that. And I was like, she can use the straps to tighten it if it's still a little too loose. This is the lehenga, the complete piece on my mannequin. absolutely gorgeous. I had her come in for another fitting, and this is her in it. It fit, the sleeves fit. Oh my gosh, yes. She could finally put on the full sleeve, so excited about that. The skirt, how much I had taken in, she was fine with that. It worked. The top was a little big, so I added some darts, but this is her on the wedding day. Absolutely gorgeous. And she actually had I think it's called a dupatta, and it's like a shawl that comes with the lehenga. So gorgeous, gorgeous. Absolutely love working with this piece. Before and after, how did I do?